everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Britt, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you probably should because I talk about geeky things, and today we're going to be testing out a product for 30 days. It's actually technically 31 days because I did it through the course of March, which I know you're seeing this a lot later than March. The way that I'm scheduling out my videos, my lifestyle videos just seem to be a lot easier to schedule out, so those are far in advance. It is currently April, so I've been sleeping without the weighted blanket now for a little while, and so I feel like in the outro I'll be able to tell you exactly how I feel about the idea of a weighted blanket for me and me alone. I do know people who really love them, and I know people who don't like them at all, so let's talk about it. So what is a weighted blanket? A weighted blanket is a blanket with weight. Mine in particular is 18 pounds, and it doesn't feel like a lot of weight, honestly, until you stop using it, which I talk about because I do get to a point in this month where I decided to sleep a few nights without it so that I could have a more controlled idea of how I was sleeping with it, to now sleep without it again and see if my sleeping changed at all. So it really makes a difference when you stop sleeping with it because eventually your body gets so used to it. But yeah, so it's a blanket that you use. It has a little bit of weight to it. It's supposed to help with anxiety. And I've been told to get a weighted blanket for a very, very long time. And mostly because of the fact that I suffer from anxiety. I also have CPTSD, which means that I do have nightmares from time to time, and pretty vivid nightmares, and nightmares that affect my entire day because they are trauma nightmares, or they're trauma dreams, and so I tend to be pretty messed up for the rest of the day because I have triggered trauma. And if you guys don't know enough about it, read up on PTSD and CPTSD. But either way, sleeping can sometimes be very difficult for me. So I decided to get this weighted blanket because I've been told for a long, long time. One, maybe the reason why I sleep on my stomach is because I need pressure on my chest, because that's just a very secure kind of place to be when you are sleeping. And so if I have a weighted blanket, that might be enough pressure on my chest, so I might be able to sleep on my back, which is better for you, I guess. And also just because if I'm having a nightmare or being anxious, it could lower those things at night, sleeping with that blanket. I will tell you, the day that I got it, I did use it on my couch and it was so nice. But yeah, so that's the reason people have been telling me to get a weighted blanket for a long time. My therapist has never really told me to get a weighted blanket, but matter of fact, she's one of the people that don't like weighted blankets for herself. But I've been told by multiple people to get a weighted blanket and see if it changes how I sleep and if I can start sleeping on my back. So let's head on into each morning waking up with the weighted blanket. So here we go. Look what came in the mail today. Oh my gosh, had I known this would have been coming in the mail today, I would have already done the intro. So this intro will just have to be slyly done on Saturday, when I've already slept on it and already have kind of an idea. But here is my new weighted blanket. It is so heavy. It's actually not when you lay down on it, but when you're trying to like hold it up, if you can feel the weight. So I'm gonna sleep on this for the next month, and or sleep not on it, but under it for the next month. And then at the very end, we'll come together for kind of an idea of how I feel. So I am going to check in with you guys tomorrow morning about how I'm feeling about sleeping with a weighted blanket. And if it helps my anxiety, if it helps me sleep better, if it helps with any of the nightmares that I get, I'm looking forward to hopefully it not being terrible. And yes, I live in Minnesota, but I am indeed a Broncos fan, so I'm also a Vikings fan. Anyway, listen, I'm done. Oh, okay, so first night on the weighted blanket was a rough one. Obviously it's gonna take some time to get used to, but I woke up multiple times between 9, because I went to bed at 9 last night. 9 and 11, woke up multiple times, either because I was hot or because I, put it over everything else. So I'm almost wondering if maybe I should use it as my comforter. Maybe that'll be better, because that's really gonna suck for like summer. Anyway, so I either woke up because I was hot or because I was uncomfortable. I tried to fall asleep on my back because that's part of the reason why I wanted to get it, was so I could start falling asleep on my back, because my anxiety wants pressure on my chest, and so I usually sleep on my stomach because of that. And I know that's not great for your neck, that's not great for a lot of parts of your body. So I've been trying to, and I usually wake up on my back. So I usually have to fall asleep on my stomach, and then at some point I flip and wake up on my back. So I was like, well, maybe this will help. And I still had trouble falling asleep on my back. So eventually that was part of it too, was I would kind of doze in and out, because I can doze in and out, but I can't like fall asleep. So I finally flipped over onto my stomach. So like I said, it was kind of a rough night. Nova was having trouble too, kind of figure out where she was gonna be, because I was trying to sleep in positions I don't normally sleep in. So it was kind of a rough night initially, but I'm guessing over the course of this month it's going to get better. I hope it's going to get better. So I'll keep checking in every morning to see how it's going and how it's, you know, if it's getting better or not. Hopefully this won't be a super long video, but you know, it was a rough night the first night. So I forgot to update you this morning when I woke up about how I slept last night. It was better than the first night, but it's still like, I don't know, I'm still having trouble falling asleep and staying asleep at first, but once I fall asleep for good, then I'm out like a light all night. So it's fantastic. I am set up for tonight. It is not a full blanket, like it's not like a full like comforter size. So it is something that I kind of put away every day, but I don't really put it away. I fold it up and it sits on my bed until I figure out a better option. But if I like this enough, I'm gonna get the larger size from the same company that can be my comforter, and it just will become my comforter going forward. But and then this one that I have now can be at my couch in case I need it, because I'm having anxiety issues. But anyway, yeah, so I'm doing better. We're gonna see how tonight goes. Hopefully tonight is better. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping each night will get consecutively better as time kind of goes on. But yeah, I don't know. I am enjoying it. So there you go. So last night I actually woke up at like 2, but that's not the blanket's fault. That was because I forgot to turn my TV on sleep and my TV woke me up. But I have noticed, if you look closely, you're gonna see that the blanket is rolled up a little bit. So my body, I think, got hot and took it off. And while I was sleeping last night, I noticed it at 2 a.m. But I was too tired to like just put it back on me. So I don't know. I think my body's just too hot with the top sheet, the comforter, and the weighted blanket. I don't know. And I'm not getting rid of my top sheet. I don't know how that became a millennial thing. Like, millennials, are we okay? Because we need top sheets, or at least you guys need top sheets. The rest of the millennials need top sheets because, yikes. Top sheets keep your comforter clean, so you don't have to wash it as often. Because I don't have a duvet, it's a just genuine comforter. But anyway, so that's night 3 on my blanket. I fell asleep really easily last night. But like I said, I woke up with it not really even on me anymore, so I kept it exactly how it was. I just moved my comforter so that it looked where I was sleeping, so that it looked halfway like decent, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, all right, that's it for night 3. Noah's being really cute. She likes to sleep in my spot or lay down in my spot when I get up. So she likes to roll around in my gross body odor. Anyway, so I had yet another night with my weighted blanket. I forgot to, well, not that I forgot. I had kind of a weird night. So I fell asleep on my couch for like an hour, and then I was like, oh, I'm so tired. And so I just went to bed. So I didn't take my comforter off like I was going to last night. So I got really hot again, woke up with my weighted blanket not on my body again. So definitely gonna have to try that without a comforter and see if it's just because I'm hot. because the thing is, once I fall asleep with it on, I am so asleep. And I did sort of wake up this morning before my alarm, but not for any reason other than I just woke up early, earlier than my alarm. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm sleeping really, really well with it, because like once I'm asleep, and I've had pleasant dreams. I have had either that or I don't remember my dreams at all a lot of times. Like last night I had like a sort of dream, but for the most part it was just a very quick, I was out and then I woke up kind of night. So I don't know, I do like sleeping with it so far, but I'm just trying to figure out how to sleep with it where I'm not going to be like really, really hot in the nighttime. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I do like it though. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the whole like not being able to sleep with it on the whole night. So I'm just gonna try it without the comforter, see what happens tonight. This time for real. That's my update for today. So I did manage to take off my comforter last night and sleep with just the weighted blanket. I did manage to wake up in the middle of the night and it still be off of me because it was cold. And so, because all I had on me was my top sheet. So I don't know what is going on with that. I don't know if my body just doesn't like being constrained in the middle of the night. I mean, not like it's super constrained, but like, because it's just an 18-pound weighted blanket. But like, and it doesn't even feel like 18 pounds because it's just, because it's distributed. But still, like, I don't know. And I managed to like really move around last night because as you can kind of see, it's like not really on my bed anymore. It's over on just one side of my bed. And it definitely wasn't like in the middle last night because I wanted it to be more focused on the side that I sleep on. But it definitely moved a lot. So I definitely moved a lot. But I'm definitely sleeping better in general when I have it on. So I think that I'm reaping the benefits, but I think my body just still isn't used to it. So I don't know what to think about it. I don't know what to think yet. I'm still gonna give this like a month before we really make our final decision here in this video. But I don't know, like after what, it's been 6 nights, 5 nights, 6 nights, something like that now, and it's still in a position where I don't know why my body is kind of rejecting it in the middle of the night. But my body does that in the middle of the night. My body makes decisions. Like sometimes my body just doesn't want a pillow anymore in the middle of the night, and it just throws I just throw my pillow across the room. It happens. So I don't know if my body just is like, no, don't want this anymore when I'm sleeping. So I'm gonna give it some more nights. I'm gonna keep doing it without my comforter and see if that just makes it easier for me to get used to it, because that way I'm not so hot. Because obviously it's not because I was overly hot now, because I took my comforter off and slept with just the weighted blanket. So it's obviously the weight, but it's just like an 18-pound weighted blanket that's distributed across the bed. So I don't know. I genuinely don't know. So that's my update for today. Let's see what tomorrow brings. So I slept on with this again, with my comforter, because obviously, like I said, yesterday was not because, or the night before was not because of the fact that I was hot, because I still managed to get the weighted blanket off. So I decided, instead of doing the mess of taking off my comforter, putting on the weighted blanket, and then taking off the weighted blanket and putting on the comforter and making my bed in the morning just was too much, I decided we're just gonna sleep with the comforter and the weighted blanket. And it did go better. I still woke up, but this time completely uncovered. So I just covered back up and I stayed covered the entire time. But I don't think I moved much aside from uncovering myself, because my cat was cuddling with me the exact same way pretty much all night. I woke up without her. Well, the reason I woke up this morning was because she was walking on me, but when I woke up in the middle of the night, she was still cuddling the exact same way that she was cuddling when we fell asleep. So that tells me that I don't move around as much.
So that's good. And again, my dreams were pleasant, my dreams were good. I had really weird dreams about Disney World, but that's not unusual. But yeah, so I think things are getting better. I'm still enjoying sleep better with the weighted blanket. That's what I got.
So I forgot to update when I woke up this morning. Again, I had a good night's sleep with it over me. Again, woke up with it off. So I don't know if my body just doesn't like it when I'm sleeping or what, but I'm still gonna keep on keeping on. We're gonna do this for a full month, see if my body can get used to it or what, but I will update you guys in the morning, hopefully, if I remember. Either way, hopefully I remember before bed. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. So I'm making my bed, but I slept with the weighted blanket last night. And again, I woke up, I didn't wake up in the middle of the night except for when my eyes opened in the middle of the night and started to hurt because I got some gook in my eye. But that's the only reason I think I woke up. But it was definitely off of half of my body, so like my upper body it was off of, it was rolled up. So I think it might just be a matter of when I'm moving around, I uncover and then I recover, and maybe my weighted blanket just doesn't come with. That might be part of it because obviously it's heavier than my sheets and my comforter. So I'm wondering if maybe that's why it comes off partway through the night, because that made it clear that it wasn't really off of me. I think again, I may uncover and then recover at some point in the night for some reason. Or just from movement, whatever, I may uncover and then just and be cold and then grab my blankets. So that might be why my weighted blanket has such a hard time staying on my body. So we'll see as my body gets more and more used to it, if maybe for some reason my body stops doing that, because that's kind of the point, is to stop your body from moving so much, stop, the anxiety of sleeping. I don't know, we'll see. But that's what we've got right now. All right, that's all I got. I'm making my bed again. And I've already folded up my blanket. I actually didn't wake up at all last night, which is weird because my work computer turned on, and usually the light from that coming on will jar me awake. So that's interesting. So I didn't wake up at all in the middle of the night. I slept like a log. So I do think this is definitely making a difference in my sleep for sure. But yet again, it's like the movement that happens ends up getting it at least partially off of me. I woke up with it again, half off. So, I mean, it's helping my sleep, and I don't know when it comes off. So it's definitely working, and it's definitely a good thing. But who knows? Anyway, that's where I'm at, March 10th. We still have 21 days to go to be doing this, or 20 days to go to do this for a full month, and then we will come together at the end of the month and figure out how we feel about it together. All right, that's all I got. 4:30 in the morning. Last night, I did wake up with not being covered at all, but I think that was definitely just I was hot, because it's getting warmer in Minnesota, so it's one of those like, we have the furnace off right now, but we haven't turned the AC on yet. So it does kind of get hot in the house every once in a while. So that doesn't surprise me. I think that would have happened even without the weighted blanket on the bed, but because I wasn't covered at all. So, but then when I woke up with my blankets covering only half of my body, basically starting at my hip, but the weighted blanket was there. So obviously my body's getting used to it. Just got to get past the hot. Can't wait for the AC to be able to turn on, because I open my windows because we live in not a city where I feel comfortable doing that on a ground level. So technically I'm slightly below ground, but like the windows obviously are fully above ground. So that's how below ground I am. Not very.
But yeah, so I don't feel comfortable. Why? Don't stand on that, please. Please don't sit on that. Anyway, so I don't feel comfortable doing that, so I just kind of have to deal with the way that it is, which is being hot sometimes in the middle of the night until we can turn the AC on. So there you go. All right, that's all the update that I have for this time. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow with a new update. So last night I didn't wake up at all, and my weighted blanket stayed on me the whole night. Again, I woke up with half of it off, but I think that's pretty normal because again, I'm starting to get a little warmer because we're kind of in that weird place in spring where we're not committing to the AC yet, but because it's still not that warm out, but we're also not turning on the furnace because yikes. So we're in that really weird place in Minnesota spring. But anyway, my cat, I forgot, likes to lay down in my spot, and so she's like creeped up right there, right in my old spot, but I already put my blanket and stuff up, so poor Nova. Anyway, but that is my update for tonight, or today. That really worked well last night, and so it's getting better, and I can't tell you how well I've honestly slept since sleeping with this blanket. The only reason the first nights were tough were because I was waking up, but I may not be waking up anymore. So that's great. I'm thrilled. Anyway, that's my update. So I had a rough night, but I don't think it was because of the weighted blanket. I think it was because my work computer turned on in the middle of the night again because it hates me. And Nova also hates me. So she doesn't hate me, she loves me, which is why she wants me to wake up in the middle of the night, because sometimes she just really genuinely wants attention in the middle of the night. So she also woke me up multiple times. So I had a rough night, but not because of the weighted blanket, because of other things that generally wake me up. But I think my body is actually really used to this weighted blanket at this point. I definitely was feeling really hot the first time I woke up, which is when my computer turned on. I knew I should have disconnected that stupid large monitor. But anyway, because then I could have shut the laptop and we wouldn't have had a problem. Anyway, because my work computer is a laptop that I connect to a larger monitor, so I have two screens. And so if I would have done what I should have done last night, which is connect my actual monitor, the large monitor, to my actual computer like I would normally do, which I was like lazy last night, so I didn't do it last night. I was like, I'll just do it in the morning. Now I regret life. But anyway, my weighted blanket, not its fault last night. So I think my body is finally used to it, which is fantastic. So we'll see how the rest of this month goes. We're about halfway through the month now, so we'll see how the rest of the month goes. I changed my lens a little bit. I mean, I zoomed out, but that's not what you call it when you actually use like a proper lens. Anyway, so slept on it last night, lost it halfway through the night, did not wake up throughout the night. Did I wake up throughout the night? I don't think I did. I don't remember. I mean, it's daylight savings time, so like that started. I lost an hour of sleep, had a rough night because of my neighbors who decided to play loud busting music and on a karaoke machine. Not only that, but like got microphone feedback. Had to call the cops because, you know, it's quiet time in Bloomington, and my dog was terrified of the fireworks they're shooting off, which are illegal in the state of Minnesota. So it was a rough start to the night. But I don't think I woke up in the middle of the night, but I don't remember, because with that and the fact I lost an hour of sleep, I don't remember anything anymore. I'm over it. I have jet lag, I guess? I don't know. Not really. Anyway. But I did lose my blanket halfway through the night, which is weird because I didn't think I was going to, because it was really cold last night. Like, it was really cold down here last night. So I was thinking that that wouldn't happen, but obviously it did. Anyway, I'm still enjoying my time with my weighted blanket. It's still making me at least fall asleep a lot faster, at the very least. So I did not sleep well last night. I'm very tired today, so I did not sleep well last night. Woke up without the blanket on me. I think I got warm last night So I actually woke up cold and pulled the blanket back over me, but I woke up a little bit before my alarm after a really weird dream. But I want to start writing down my dreams and then like do an entire video about like dreams that I've had, because I have some really weird dreams. Anyway, but yeah, I think my body just did not want to sleep with the weighted blanket last night, but I did not sleep well, which is weird because we just got shades for my windows, which I've been wanting for like years, because ever since we got these new windows, they're not all that new anymore. My old curtains just didn't work and I didn't like them anymore. I never did like them. My grandma gave them to me, but they were just big and bulky and not my style, even though they were paisley and I love paisley, but like I like paisley on clothing. I don't like paisley as a decorational choice in the house. Myself, personally, if you do, more power to you. I will not say anything bad about it, but this is just not my personal like interior design tastes. Anyway, so we finally got curtains, or not curtains, but shades installed, which meant that I should have slept better, but I didn't. So, I just did not sleep well, but I think it might still be because of the time change, because I never react well to daylight savings time changeover. Like, it takes a few days for my brain to like understand that it's okay. So I tend to kind of be in a weird place with that. But anyway, that's all. Didn't sleep well. I don't think it's the blanket's fault. I think it's daylight savings time fault. We need to stop with this daylight savings time stuff. Like, it's just dumb. So I didn't update yesterday because I forgot, because I was exhausted. My brain just didn't sleep at all. Whether I was actually asleep or not, I'm not convinced my brain was actually asleep. My work computer turned on partway through the night that night and woke me up. Plus my brain just, again, can't handle daylight savings time very well for a few days. So last night I went to bed and I fell, oh geez. Well, that's not helpful. All right, this is what we're going with. This is just, let's just switch sides. I know, puppy, so scary. I'm moving my tripod, that's terrifying. Anyway, so guess I have to charge my ring light. Anyway, and my battery. But yeah, so I fell asleep last night and slept. Like, I didn't move until I woke up this morning, and that's wild. Like, luckily my computer didn't turn on halfway through the night, and I ended up sleeping all the way through the night without waking up even a little. Nova was able to cuddle with me all night, which is unusual because I move around so much. My weighted blanket was completely in the same position. Like, I don't think I moved last night. I think I fell asleep and just slept because I feel great this morning. So I'm hoping my body's caught up with daylight savings time. Why is 1 hour so messy? I just don't get it. Like, it shouldn't be this bad. Anyway, but I feel great this morning. So, oh my gosh. I hope the rest of my nights are like that. I will update tomorrow, hopefully. So I'm really bad at recording, but that's okay because I don't think I'm going to put every single day in here. But last night I actually had a pretty good night's sleep. I did wake up and have to fall back to sleep a couple of times, but it wasn't due to stress or anything. I woke up a little bit after my alarm would have gone off during the weekday, and then gone, oh my god, I forgot to set my alarm, and then realized, wait, it's Saturday, I don't have to set my alarm today. So obviously I must have slept really well because my brain got confused as to what day it was. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. But and by a little bit, like, it wouldn't have made me late for work or anything. So I wake up very early, just naturally. It is currently 6:30 and I'm wide awake, and I've been awake for about an hour, so just now finally making my bed. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. I think I'm really starting to enjoy sleeping with the weighted blanket. Genuinely, I think I'm really starting to enjoy it. Not that I wasn't enjoying it before, because I was enjoying it before, but this is like where I'm finally starting to realize that my body, I think, is used to it, because again, I'm not moving it off my body as much. couple nights now. Every once in a while I'm moving it off of my body in the middle of the night. But like last night it didn't go anywhere, yet I still moved around quite a bit. So I think that's pretty interesting. And I do want to try one night without it now that my body is getting used to it, but I think I'm gonna wait until a little bit later. So maybe the 25th or 26th, maybe I'll do that. And we'll see where my body is sleeping without it after that, and see what happens and see like how things are different. But I think to make sure that I control this kind of study, I'm a scientist, I think it's important for me to also sleep without it now, just to see how my body reacts without it, and see if it's something I'm gonna have to take with me on trips to places. Hopefully not, because it's 18 pounds. I can't imagine having my suitcase be 18 pounds heavier than what it ends up being whenever I take a trip. But anyway, that's where I'm at. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. Hope it's not too boring. But yeah, my cat's being crazy. See you guys all next time. Well, by that I mean hopefully tomorrow morning. So you can almost always tell when I've had a nightmare because my bed looks like this in the morning, because I move around a lot, and because my body doesn't like paralyze as much as it should during a nightmare, which is weird. I don't know. I have a lot of sleeping problems. I also sleepwalk a lot, or used to. I don't know if I sleepwalk anymore, but anyway, I had a nightmare last night. So that's fun. So I'm feeling actually quite triggered by my PTSD, which doesn't feel great. So this is the first time I've had a nightmare with the weighted blanket, but I tried something new. The weighted blanket is now underneath my comforter. And so that way I can't like push it off of me. Though I have in the past, when my top sheet is uncomfortable, like if it's scratchy or if it is coarse or something, I would find a way to get it off at night. But so it goes top sheet, weighted blanket, and then comforter. So I figured it would be really hard for me to do that with the weighted blanket. So obviously the weighted blanket stayed on me last night. It definitely was pushed down a little bit, but that's also because my bed looks like this in the morning. So that was kind of a rough night. I did sleep through the night for the most part. I did wake up after my nightmare a little bit, but that's pretty normal. If I have a nightmare, I wake up during it, or I wake up right after it, and then I fall back to sleep. And then I woke up at my normal time, which is 4:30, and then I fell back to sleep, and then Nova woke me up at 5:30 thinking, hey, you need to be awake because you don't sleep in. And I was about ready to give up and wake up for the day when all of a sudden my body just got really tired again, and I fell back to sleep, and I was able to wake up at 6:30. So yeah, so I slept a little bit, and I knew that I wanted to because I didn't get to sleep until like 10:30 last night, because yesterday was a very busy day, and so we didn't even get home. So it was my sister's birthday. We tend to all be very careful with everything, so we feel like we can see family. And so we went to a patio and had at a brewery and had some beer and nachos from a truck that's in the parking lot, and then we went back to my sister's and brother-in-law's house, my sister brother-in-law's house, for a barbecue. So we were all very obviously careful, things like that, because it was my sister's birthday, but we didn't get home until like 9 o'clock. So, and that's usually my bedtime is 9:30. So I, being an extrovert, needed to kind of wind down and get tired because my energy was like, so it's hard whenever I'm out doing something at 9. It's hard for me to wind down and actually go to bed. So it took me about an hour to finally feel tired enough to go to sleep. And then I had that nightmare. So that's great. Anyway, that's where I'm at. All right, I'm gonna make my bed, and we'll try this again tonight and see how it goes. Hopefully I don't have more nightmares. So I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning and thought I was gonna be awake, but luckily I fell back to sleep. That was the only time I woke up, was at 3 this morning, which happens every once in a while. I wake up super awake and thinking, oh, this is it. So, and luckily that it was actually pretty late Usually I'm waking up at like 1 and being like, oh no, I have to, this is it. Like, I'm just gonna be insomniac all for the rest of the time. I did fall back to sleep, woke up at 4:30, fell back to sleep, which isn't good because 4:30 is when I want to wake up, and then woke up 15 minutes later at 4:45-ish. So, that wasn't too bad. My bed looks like this again. Granted, I started making it before I started filming the video, or this portion of the video, but anyway, so that's where I'm at. I've noticed that with the weighted blanket underneath my comforter, that my bed is, or my comforter is falling off of my bed, because you can see my Disney blanket, that's kind of falling off. That doesn't normally happen. So that's kind of interesting. So I don't know what's going on there. Sometime this week, I am going to take the weighted blanket off and sleep without it on, so that I have kind of a better controlled idea as to whether or not I'm sleeping better, worse, or no change at all with or without the weighted blanket. So we're gonna try that sometime this week. I don't know when I'm gonna do that, maybe tonight. We'll see, I haven't decided yet, but we're gonna kind of go from there. All right, that's my update for today. So that's what my bed looks like. But yeah, so I apparently moved a lot again last night. I did wake up at least one part of the night, but that was just because Nova was in between my legs and I moved, and she didn't like that, so she caused me pain, as per usual. So that's really it. I think tonight is the night that I'm gonna try and sleep without my weighted blanket. And I'm thinking that this might be the reason why I'm moving so much. I don't actually move this much anymore. It's weird that I'm waking up like this every morning now. I don't know if my body is ever gonna actually get used to the weighted blanket. But that's what I've got today for the update. So for the record, that is what my bed normally looks like when I wake up. There's obviously that I moved around a little bit because I move around a lot when I sleep, but definitely not my bed as much in disarray as it was when I put my weighted blanket underneath. The other thing I noticed was when I got into bed last night, it felt really weird because like when I pulled my covers back, I went, oh my god, so light, and then I got underneath the covers and it felt like I had nothing on me. Like it just felt really weird. After 23 nights with the weighted blanket, it felt really weird to not have the weighted blanket. I did wake up about an hour before I was really supposed to, but just to give you an idea, that is actually pretty normal for me. So the constant waking up before I'm supposed to is relatively normal. So that is not something to be like, oh, it's the weighted blanket's fault. It's very normal for the way that I sleep. And it's a lot of people, it's so funny when people are like, oh, you fall asleep so quickly, and you know, you have anxiety, but you fall asleep so quickly. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't stay asleep. That's the thing. That's how my insomnia comes into play, is I can fall asleep just fine. I can fall asleep easily. But if I'm anxious or just my general resting anxiety, I won't sleep. I don't sleep through the night. It's very rare. And if I do sleep through the night, it's so exciting. So I don't normally sleep through the night. I wake up at least once or twice every single night. So, but yeah, so that's kind of how that went. Kind of a similar night. It's not like I slept differently without the weighted blanket or with the weighted blanket. I think I'm sleeping the exact same. I think the difference is that my body wants to get the weight off partway through the night, and that's why I end up with a bed that looks like it's more in disarray than it normally does when I'm not sleeping the weighted blanket. So I think that's interesting. I'm sleeping the exact same way. There is absolutely no change to how I'm sleeping. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna try one more night without, and then I'm gonna try the rest of the month with, and we'll kind of make a decision at the end. So that's the plan as it stands right now. But yeah, so I'll touch base with you guys again tomorrow. So I moved around a lot last night, but I had a really weird dream where I was super active, and so obviously my body just didn't fully paralyze like it's supposed to. My fitted sheet isn't even all the way on right now in that bed, in that corner up by my pillow. So I don't know. I didn't sleep well. I also woke up quite a bit throughout the night last night, so I had a really bad night. I had an insomniac night. I did not sleep with the weighted blanket again. I decided to wait until Saturday to put the weighted blanket back on my bed, just so that I have enough nights without it again to really have a decent controlled idea. I wish I'd thought about doing this a lot sooner in the month, because I would have done like maybe a week on, week off kind of thing, but it just didn't work out that way until my brain didn't think of that until later in the month. So I'm gonna sleep tonight as well with the weighted blanket, and then sleep Friday night without the weighted blanket, and then put the weighted blanket back on Saturday night. I think that will be the best way to make sure that I have some sort of controlled idea. But clearly it's not because of the weighted blanket that I move around, because this happened last night. So I don't know, man. But again, last night was a rough night. I woke up at like 11:30. I know I go to bed super early. I'm an old person, and I wake up at 4:30. So I woke up at 11:30, and then I woke up again at like 1 when the fitted sheet pulled up. So I pushed that back down so that I could have that down, and then I woke up again right before my alarm was supposed to go off, and because it came back up, and I tried to do something with it, couldn't, fell back to sleep, woke up to my alarm. It was a very long night, but this happens sometimes. This is also part of the reason why I wanted some controlled sleeping, so I wanted to be able to have the blanket without the blanket, so that I could definitely see how I sleep. But I never had this bad of a night with the weighted blanket. But I don't know, it could also be because I had therapy last night, and I actually had therapy at my therapist's office because we started art, which is, you know, dealing with my trauma. So it's actually the actual therapy that I will be mostly doing to try and get over my PTSD. So it's a lot. So that might be part of the reason why I had a rough night. But anyway, that's where I'm at emotionally. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you tomorrow. Definitely not as bad as yesterday, but still moved around a lot last night. So clearly the moving around had nothing to do with the weighted blanket. Maybe I'm just feeling a lot of stuff right now. I don't know. I can't even begin to guess why I'm moving around so much, but that's where we're at. I mean, again, nowhere near as bad as it was yesterday, and also not as often. It's weird because, like, before the weighted blanket, this would never happen. Like, maybe every once in a while it would happen, but really rarely. So I don't know, it's weird. It's just very, very weird. And Nova's trying to go underneath the cover. Stop. You're not supposed to go under the covers. But yeah, so one more night without the weighted blanket, and then I'm gonna sleep with the weighted blanket for the rest of the month, and then we're going to kind of come together and come up with a final decision as to how I feel about my weighted blanket, how I'm going to use it going forward, and just all that. So last night was the last night that I'm sleeping without the weighted blanket for the rest of the month, and my bed looks like this. The fitted sheet fell off this side of the bed this time, and looks like I pushed everything down because my Disney World blanket is pretty much on the floor. Like, there's one corner still up on top of my bed. You can kind of see it right there. So I know I've been kind of in a funk the last couple days. I had my therapy appointment on Thursday, which made Thursday night rough, and then I had just a funk yesterday, pretty weird funk yesterday, which probably again made me feel like I needed to have anxiety and move around in my bed a lot. So I don't know. I have no idea what's going on because this is not normal. So I have no idea. And maybe it's because my body got so used to the weighted blanket that it has to move more just to like move. So now this is the result. This is just very strange. This is not how I would normally wake up with my bed. So I have no idea. So I did have a dream last night that I was on Big Brother and having a huge problem with one of the competitions because the computer wasn't working. I don't know. Anyway, I need to stop rewatching Big Brother. That's all I got. I gotta get my dog now. He's barking outside. So I still woke up kind of with my bed in disarray. I did put the weighted blanket back on. Can't really see it. It's almost fallen off the bed. Right there. That was actually partially because when I woke up, I was really, really hot. And so I kind of was uncovering and covering back up as I was kind of like just relaxing in bed, but I had already been awake. So the weighted blanket was actually on me for a good portion of the night because I woke up and it was on. I just took it off kind of as I was laying in bed and just kind of covering and uncovering randomly throughout the morning and kind of moving it down because I was just really, really hot this morning. So there's that. But it felt good to sleep with it again. I did wake up earlier than I wanted to. I woke up when I would normally be waking up during the week, but I went to bed kind of late last night. Or I went to sleep a little late last night. So, because going to bed does not mean going to sleep because I like to stay up and watch YouTube before I go to sleep. But anyway, so I was hoping to sleep in a little bit again today, but I did not, which is probably fine because that's why I wasn't super sleepy until like 10 o'clock last night. So it is getting me ready for work again tomorrow. But anyway, it's definitely nice to sleep with the weighted blanket. Like I just like the way that feels, but I don't know. Like I'm still, like, we're just days away from the end of this journey and I'm still in a place where I'm like, I don't know how I feel right now. But that's my update for today. We're gonna compile all of the feelings at the end of this video and we're gonna decide how we feel about sleeping with a weighted blanket. But right now, this morning, I'm too tired to understand. But we're moving on from that. Hi. So last night was a rough night. I had a headache going to bed though, so I think that might have been part of it. But yeah, last night was a rough night. I slept with the weighted blanket again. I'm sleeping with the weighted blanket for the rest of the month. Almost there. A couple days left. And then, but I kept waking up throughout the night and I'm not 100% sure why. My head still does hurt this morning, so it might be my headache that was doing it. But yeah, it was a rough night. And my fitted sheet is no longer like on my bed. You can see fitted sheet here, mattress, fitted sheet, mattress. So that's fun. All right, that's what I got. I'm gonna fix my bed now. I am feeling much better today. I was not feeling well yesterday. I actually stayed at home. Well, I work from home, but I actually didn't go to work or log in for work from home. Yesterday, I just basically sat on my couch all day and slept, off and on. But my bed does not look in super disarray this morning. But also, I woke up in the middle of the night to put my fitted sheets back over the corners because I woke up, realized they were off, and I can't handle that. It's one of my biggest pet peeves about beds is when the corners come up. I can't handle it. So it's something that I had to fix immediately when I woke up in the middle of the night. But I'm feeling much better this morning. I'm not feeling nauseous this morning. I haven't eaten yet, but we're gonna eat slowly today. So, and the weighted blanket I took off in the middle of the night. Like, I mean, it's still on my bed, but how I usually wake up with it subconsciously is what I did consciously last night because I was so hot. But I think that might just have just been remnants of me just not feeling well and wanting to just be done. with it for the moment. So I did partially take it off. My feet were under it the whole night and my legs were under it the whole night, but the top of my body was not. So just because I couldn't get comfortable with it on and I kept waking up. So I eventually just plopped it off, but that's where I'm at today. So tonight is the final night, sleeping on the weighted blanket, which is, I mean, obviously I'll sleep with it more, but for the sake of this video, this project, I'll be able to kind of gauge how I'm feeling, and I'll probably sleep without it for a little while because obviously I have to film like the intro and outro, which I'll film on Saturday, and I'll be able to sleep with or without it and kind of get a better idea of how I feel about it by then. All right, that's where I'm at. How does one stop filming a segment every morning? So I realized that I can't stop today because today is the last day, so tonight is the last night with the blanket. But anyway, so last night I woke up a few times, but as you guys have learned this month, that's normal. I don't sleep through the night. I can't remember, I mean, aside from the one night this month in which I did sleep all night and I felt so good that morning, I don't remember a time I slept through the night, so that's not unusual. But I will tell you, my new sheet's driving me bonkers because I can't seem to keep my fitted sheet from falling off of my corners, and that drives me crazy. I hate it. Anyway, I already started putting the weighted blanket away, which I do every day because I like when my bed looks nice, and putting a blanket that doesn't fit the entire bed on it does not make it look nice. Anyway, so yeah, so I didn't have a rough night's sleep because my sleep was pretty normal. I did continue to uncover myself from the weighted blanket, but then I wake up and I cover myself up again. I do think the pushing the weighted blanket off is definitely a heat factor. I think it's just I am becoming too hot over the nighttime with the weighted blanket on, that I do move it off of me. So I think that is definitely why I do it. But the actual weight feels nice and I really like the actual weight, but I have to admit that I do get hot. So I think that's my biggest issue with the weighted blanket, but that's how I'm feeling this morning. Well, we did it. A whole month. I got this weighted blanket a month ago today, and this is what my bed looks like this morning. I also had a very interesting night because last night was one of the nights that I forgot to put my TV on sleep. So if you guys don't know, I fall asleep to my TV every night. That's why I have a TV in my bedroom, is because I have to fall asleep to sound and movement. I have my reasons that I will never talk about, likely ever, on the internet, but I have to fall asleep to sound and have to fall asleep to movement. So in order for me to do that, I have to have my TV on, and a lot of people out there will be like, well, you'd get better sleep if you didn't do that because circadian rhythm and stuff. Probably, but then I wouldn't be able to fall asleep because I'd be too anxious. I would have too much anxiety. So I just live the life that I'm able to live. Anyway, I forgot to put my TV on sleep. So usually when that happens, right around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning is when I'm in a light enough sleep. Because obviously, you know, sleep does this throughout the night. I'm in a light enough sleep where my TV will wake me up. And when that happens, I have to then put my TV on sleep and try and fall back to sleep. And I was very concerned. It was like 2:15 when this happened. And I was very concerned that I was not going to fall back to sleep because I was pretty awake, and then I did. So I was very happy about that. Plus a TV show was on because I watch Nickelodeon. So we have Philo. So I watch Nickelodeon as I go to sleep. So usually I'm falling asleep to Friends, which is how I've always fallen asleep for many years, ever since we took cable out of my bedroom, because when we went to cable boxes, we just didn't find it necessary to put cable in my bedroom because I literally only use it to fall asleep. So I just started falling asleep to my DVDs and then eventually Netflix when I switched to smart technology over here. But now I have Philo and I can fall asleep to Friends again, which is very easy for me to fall asleep to because I've been falling asleep to it for years. But Mom was on at that point, so that's a lot harder for me to fall asleep to because I really like watching Mom. So I was very concerned I wasn't gonna be able to fall asleep. And luckily I did, and luckily everything is fine. But I'm still kind of groggy this morning because of it. But also my bed looks like this, so obviously I was moving around a lot, and my cat is in my spot, which is fine, pretty normal. Anyway, so there we go. So on to the outro about what I think about weighted blankets, or at least my experience with weighted blankets. So here we go.
So there you have it. So my thoughts on a weighted blanket. I like it. I do like my weighted blanket. I feel like my subconscious doesn't like it. It's pretty clear, and even now sleeping without it for a while, it's almost like my subconscious brain now has this really uncomfortable feeling about being covered at all, because I'll wake up and my bed is just in a mess. It takes a long time to make my bed in the morning nowadays. So how you found that one morning where my sheets and comfort were basically off of my bed, that's pretty much how I wake up every morning these days. And I haven't slept with it since I stopped sleeping with the weighted blanket, since the 31st. So honestly, I can sleep well without it. My sleeping really didn't change. You know, I didn't necessarily have too many nightmares over the course of March, but I also haven't had a ton of nightmares since. I had one last night, but I don't think it was a trauma nightmare. It was just a really weird, I don't know, dream that's kind of just been making me go, what, all day? But I can't say that it really helped me sleep better. I do think that it definitely helps me sleep more soundly, in the sense of, you know, I'm more restrained, but I think that's what my subconscious doesn't like about it. So I'm able to fall asleep a lot faster with it, but I don't think I'm able to sleep very soundly with it throughout the night, because I think my subconscious mind doesn't love it. So what I'm gonna do from now on is use it when I'm anxious. So if I'm kind of anxious and going to bed, I'll use it. Or if I'm anxious, I'll go use it on my couch and just kind of try and calm down. Because one of the big reasons why I was told to do it is because when I am anxious, I tend to roll myself up and stuff. Like, I'll put on a hooded sweatshirt and I'll like tighten the hood and try really hard to like basically burrito myself. So maybe I'll use it when I'm actually physically anxious and see if that makes a difference. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. I'm pretty neutral about weighted blankets, to be honest. I say give it a try. If you've got the money to use it, I would try it out and see what you think yourself. But of course, everybody's different. Nobody's gonna be the same. My experience is not gonna be your experience. But I'm personally pretty neutral about it as far as I'm concerned. I think it'll be effective if I'm super anxious, but I don't think it's effective for me to sleep with every single night. But again, that is just me. If you love your weighted blanket and can't sleep without it, I get it, because again, I like the way it feels, and I really don't like the way it feels without it now. It feels really weird, but at the same time, I don't think my subconscious likes it. So I end up with a really just uncomfortable night's sleep in general, but that's how I feel. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have a weighted blanket and if you like it or don't like it. If you've ever tried one, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye. If you guys want to see the last video like this I did, you guys can click right here. If you guys want to see what the algorithm thinks is best for you on my channel, click here. Click here to subscribe to this channel, here to subscribe to my vlogging channel. Hit the bell for notifications on both of those channels. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Share it to social media. Do what you gotta do. I'll see you guys all next time.